Let me ask you something. What if I told you some of the inventions you use every single day came from black minds, but you were never taught it? Not by accident, not by oversight, but because history was told a certain way. Well, today, Dr. Fred Price starts pulling the curtain back. What you're about to hear might surprise you. This is part one. Now let's be clear about something. This isn't about trying to prove one group is better than another. This is about the truth. Because when truth is hidden, identity gets distorted. And when identity is distorted, people start living beneath what they really are. Dr. Price made something very powerfully clear, that history, as it's often taught, doesn't always tell the full story. And when it comes to the contributions of black people, especially in science, innovation, and everyday life, there are things that have been overlooked or minimized or just simply not taught at all. So today, we're not guessing, we're not speculating. We're going to start uncovering real contributions, real inventions from real people that help shape the world you're living in right now. And this is just part one.
Even though that's what has been purposely orchestrated to make it appear that we are worthless, that we're a drain on society, that we're the problem that the society has. And if you could get rid of the black folk, then you wouldn't have crime. It's kind of like, they make it appear like all crime is black-oriented crime. The only reason for that is because that's the only kind they show you on the news. Basically. That's purposeful so that you can paint a picture negatively of black folks. Just like welfare. If you listen to the news, the only people on welfare are black folk. And you white folks need to know there are more white people on welfare than there are black people.
Now, as I mentioned in the previous video, there are, I believe it was 43% white people that are on welfare versus, I believe it's like 28% black that are on welfare today. Now, when he mentioned this was in 1998. Okay. Now he was deriving statistics from back then. So the narrative has always been, always black people, the majority on welfare. No, that is a lie from the pit of hell. That is a lie. And it's been a lie for many years. Like I said, even today, because I looked it up, there are more white people on welfare than black people. Look it up for yourself. If you don't believe me, look it up for yourselves. Don't take my word for it. Don't take his word for it. Look it up for yourselves.
You need to know that. But they don't ever get covered. That's never portrayed. It's always like it's the black folk in the ghetto that are the problem. It's called scapegoatism. So we need to find out about ourselves. I think it would be very educational, revealing, and inspiring, as I said, for both blacks and whites to know that blacks have made significant contribution to the development of the United States of America. Many times our negative attitudes about people is fostered in part by our ignorance of their achievements. We tend to look down on them because we believe that they have made no significant contribution to our country and to the ongoing of civilization. I would like to call this segment of our study, Did You Know? Do you / did you know? That's the whole title. Do you / did you know? ? In the book, African American First, that's the title of the book, African American First by Joanne Potter with Constance Clayton. Joanne Potter, P-O-T-T-E-R, with Constance Clayton, C-L-A-Y-T-O-N. Published by Pinto Press, Elizabethtown, New York. Copyright 1994 by Joanne Potter. Not ancient history. We find some very interesting facts about African Americans that neither blacks or whites are aware of. See, if I look at you and I think you've made no contribution to civilization, it's very easy for me to have a tendency to look down my nose at you, as though you were not really, productive, that you're just really a drain on society. You and your folks have made no contribution to civilization, none to our country, and that's a lie. Premeditated, purposeful lie. And they're still basically teaching this garbage in the schools now. Number one, who made the first clock in America, in the American colonies? In 1754, Benjamin Banneker, a black man. You find that on page 233 in African American First. Number two, who designed the first automatic lubricator? In 1872, Elijah McCoy patented his first invention. An automatic lubricator for machinery. Elijah worked for the railroad, and he was a man, what they used to have to do with these big trains, that the trains could run only so long, then they'd have to stop. Then the men would have to come out and oil the machinery, oil the wheels and the bearings by hand. He developed a methodology by which the wheels were lubricated, the moving parts were lubricated automatically. He's a black man in America in 1872. He acquired more than 50 patents in his lifetime. Have you ever heard the term in your life, the real McCoy? Yes. Well, that term came from this black man. What happened, people will pirate inventions and ideas from other people if they're not patented. Or even if they are, they'll try to change it a little bit so that it looks different. And so what happened when Elijah McCoy came out with this invention and he got it patented, the railroads and many machinery manufacturers began to use it. Well, what happened was his method was so awesome and it worked so well that others, as I say, tried to copy it. But people who were smart and knew that there was a difference, whenever they would buy a piece of machinery and the salespeople would tell them about how it was automatically lubricated, they would always ask, is this the real McCoy? That's where that's how it started. Is this the real McCoy? They wanted to know, is this the stuff that was invented by and patented by Elijah McCoy? That's where the term, the real McCoy, came from. Who invented the first railroad telegraph system? In 1887, Granville T. Woods patented a rail telegraph system that was designed to avert accidents by allowing messages to be sent between moving trains and between trains and railroad stations. Woods, who became known as the Black Edison, had secured more than 60 patents when he died in 1902. He also invented the third rail that is still used in subways today. That was invented by a black man. You didn't find that out in school. They didn't tell you that in school. Excuse me?
Amen.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. This is why it was such a travesty for Trump to get rid of DEI. It's a travesty because DEI for us. I'm not talking about homosexuals or anybody like that. I'm talking about us particularly. It was a slap in our face because what he did was tear down history. He took away books, pretty much wanting to whitewash whatever contributions that we at least have shown in libraries, in statues, in names. See, you got to remember, we are still trying to build what was either taken away or lied about or systemically eradicated. So don't get it twisted, all right? Which is why we need to continue to spread truth like this, share it, get together with your loved ones, get together with your kids, get together with your grandchildren, whoever it may be. But spread this information. Don't let it just stay right here. Spread the information because it's needed.
On page 241 and 242 in this book, African American First, under number 4, who invented the first machine to make a complete shoe? In 1883, Jan Meltzliger received a patent for the first lasting machine. That's the machine that puts the top and the sole and puts them together. That used to have to be done by hand. This man invented a machine that would turn out a complete shoe. Black man. On page 241, under number 5, now you ladies will appreciate this, and some of you will be absolutely shocked out of your socks. I mean, you'll be shocked out of your pantyhose. Well, women do wear pantyhose, don't they? Did I say something strange? Well, how many women have on pantyhose? Don't, I'm joking. Joking, just wanted to get your attention. The first ironing board was invented and patented in 1892 by an African American woman named Sarah Boone, Boone. She received a patent for an ironing board. She had devised a narrow wooden board with a padded covering supported by legs that could be collapsed. Before Boone's invention, people just stretched something out over on a table or between two chairs or something like that. Some of you are old enough to remember that. Can I get amen here? Honey, I remember that. Wait, I remember that. Yeah. People ironed on tables, on boards laid across chairs, all kind of different ways. Some of you these modern women, they don't know nothing about this stuff.
There's something to really think about. He's talking about these inventions, and we're just getting to just a small amount of it. But it made me think how they had to really push their way through to get heard, to be seen. But Black excellence rose to the occasion. We had schools that were not the best equipped. We didn't have the best of anything, just, across the board. But you see how the cream, as they say, rises to the top. I just find it amazing that we went through so much, to use the word hell, to go through. We were called dumb. We were called this. We were called that. But as you've seen right here and about to see of the brilliant minds that come into play, I mean, brilliant. And the multitude of inventions that you'll find out, it's just amazing, and it's mind-boggling for what we've had to endure and go through, which is why it truly annoys me to see this generation. And I'm not talking about the ones who are trying to do something. I'm talking about the ones who have this attitude of partying and cursing all the time and have no inclination of who God is, and really have no inclination of wanting to know about history, from where we've come from. Again, it's about the lies, LIE, that have been swept under the, or well, I put it this way, the lies that have been permeated, and people believe, black people. But yet when you get down to the nitty gritty of things, the truth, it may be suppressed for a while, but it always, just like that cream rising to the top, the truth comes out to the top.
Anyway, on page 242, number 6. Now, let's get a little more technical. Let's get past ironing boards and shoe lasting machines. Let's get into medical science. Because surely black ignorant Africans couldn't know anything about medicine. All they know is about witch doctors and things like that, right? Wrong. Who performed the first open heart surgery? In 1893, an African American doctor named Daniel Hale Williams made history. When James Cornish was stabbed in a bar brawl in 1893 and sent to Providence Hospital, Williams used an innovative technique to save his life. Without the aid of x-rays, antibiotics, or blood transfusion, the gifted surgeon made an incision in Cornish's chest and stitched up the wound. The patient recovered completely, and the amazing operation made Williams famous throughout the country. On page 242 and 243, under number 7, who invented the first traffic light and gas mask? First traffic light and gas mask. In the early days of the automobile, traffic was controlled by a policeman sitting in a little tower at intersections, manually operating stop and go signals. This all changed when Garrett A. Morgan, after seeing an accident between an automobile and a horse-drawn carriage on a busy street, invented and patented the first automatic traffic light in November 1923. In 1916, Morgan came to public attention in a big way. Now, I almost don't want to read this, because this will show you how entrenched this racism is and has been in this country. This is sick. Y'all have air sick bags with you? Yeah. I hope you have air sick bags with you. This is really sick. Tell me we don't need to deal with this mess. Listen to this now. In 1916, Morgan came to public attention in a big way when, using a breathing device he had invented 2 years earlier, he took part in a dramatic rescue. A disastrous explosion had occurred in a tunnel below Lake Erie, trapping nearly 30 workers. Morgan and his brother, wearing his newly invented device, which he called a safety hood, went into the smoke-filled shaft and pulled the workers to safety. When they heard about the rescue, fire officials around the country place orders for the safety hood. But many canceled the orders when they learned that Morgan was an African American. Rather die than let it be known that a black man helped me save my life. I know what you mean, sister. At this point, the Army saw the value of Morgan's invention, made some improvements on it, and the safety hood became the gas mask that saved thousands of lives in World War I.
And you know the extra absurdity in relation to what he just said is that now that was a great thing that the Army took in or adapted what he invented and used it as, you know, the gas mask. But when it came to having soldiers fight side by side, oh, that couldn't be. That can't be. First of all, you're not smart enough. Second of all, you're not fearless enough. But these are the things that were said to us. Even though they're using a gas mask that was invented by a black man and saying that we're not smart enough. Can't make this up.
On page 245 and 246 under number 8, who set up the country's first blood plasma bank? I don't think you learned that in your ghetto history class. Some of you know, but you didn't learn that in your regular ghetto history class. No, don't tell me that. The first blood plasma bank was set up by Dr. Charles R. Drew, black man. In 1938, won a research fellowship and went to New York City to do graduate work at Columbia University. While there, he developed techniques for separating and preserving blood and determined that plasma could be stored much longer than whole blood. In 1939, Drew was instrumental in setting up a blood plasma bank at New York's Presbyterian Hospital, the first of its kind in the country. Black man. Did you know? On page 246 and 247 under number 9, who was the first neurosurgeon to successfully separate Siamese twins joined at the head? You guessed it, a black man. Listen to this. Appointed director of pediatric neurosurgery at Johns Hopkins University Hospital in Baltimore in 1984. When he was only 33 years old, Dr. Benjamin S. Carson became the youngest person in the country to hold that position. He soon made medical history. In 1985, Carson performed a medical procedure known as a hemispherectomy, something anyway, Hemispherectomy. My doctors could do this. Hemispherectomy. Anyway, something with the hemisphere, that's the brain up there in the head. I spelled it right anyway, even though I didn't pronounce it. Excuse me, Dr. Carson, my ignorance. All right. Removing half the brain of a 4-year-old girl who was suffering 150 seizures a day. The other half of her brain took over all function, and the girl went on to grow and develop normally. Amen. Carson made news again in 1987 when he led the medical team that for the first time in history successfully separated Siamese twins joined at the head. Black man. An ignorant Niger.
Now with Dr. Ben Carson, I also have to mention that he that he did not get on good terms with a lot of African Americans, or like, as I like to say, black people, because he aligned himself with Donald Trump. And that's taken away from his legacy, so to speak. But aside from that, again, brilliant story, a story that's a true American type story, you know. But again, that thing with him aligning himself with Trump kind of, you know, sticks into the side of a lot of people.
Now, here's a little something you didn't know, a little sporting thing. On page 251, under number 10, who was the first jockey to win the Kentucky Derby 3 times? A black man. A black jockey. You don't even have any black jockeys today. See, at first they put the black boys on the horses so that if the horse was wild and bucked and threw the jockey off, the white boys wouldn't get killed or hurt or injured. Now, once horse racing began to make money, they weren't going to let them black boys make that money, so they crowded them out and they no longer were jockeys. See, some of you can remember this in certain places in the city and the country. You go out and you see people's lawns and they have this little miniature statue of a jockey. See, you might have thought that was a put down. That was not a put down. That was the fact that in the beginning of horse racing in this country, all jockeys were black. And this jockey is out of time. Well, stay right where you are. If this message has been a blessing to you, the announcer would tell you some very important.
As I stated earlier, this is just the beginning. When Dr. Price is exposing, isn't just about inventions. It's about identity. It's about contribution. And it's about correcting a narrative that's been incomplete for far too long. Because when people don't know what they've done, they start believing that they've done nothing. And that's been the case with us. But that ends right now. That ends here. And this is part 1. And trust me, part 2 only gets deeper, because continue to renew your mind. Enough said.